Okay, so welcome to our Facebook Live tour of my residency things here at Raven Recycling. But I wanted to start with, we have Sophie here. All kinds of beings come here to recycle. And this is Megan.
Hello, I'm Zero Waste Coordinator here at Raven Recycling. And the artist residencies were here as a way to get people to slow down and, you know, get more hands-on with the waste that they're usually just coming here to drop off and leave and then run away again. But here we wanted people to slow down and think more about the waste that they're dealing with. So Nicole Bauberger was our most recent artist, and she's going to talk a little bit about the residency that she did.
Yay! So I'm glad to have this chance to sort of share and document the stuff that I got to do while I was here. Last year I've gotten to be one of the artists in residence here over the past 2 summers. And last summer when I was here doing all kinds of crazy things with plastic, including making a translucent raven costume that we could wear and perch on the retaining wall and sort of perform at passing cars. Anyway, I learned that scientists are estimating that nowadays we're ingesting about a credit card size amount of microplastics a week. And I was like, whoa. And I went and found my partner at the bar and I said, Dean, guess what? This is what they're saying. He's like, credit card, eh? Is it activated? Do I owe anything on it? So, and I think those are good questions. Like, is it activated? Like, what's it doing in there? And do we owe something on it? Well, probably, but we don't know exactly what we owe on it yet. So that's how this concept came. I sort of finished my residency last year, and I went home and I actually started building the prototypes for these. I just had the vision so clearly. And so I drew this drawing of what I was thinking. There'd be the Raven Recycling building, there'd be these pieces of cardboard on the outside of it. Because my partner Dean runs Cadence Cycle, I know I have access to nice big pieces of cardboard as a material because he's actually a very diligent recycler. He used to work at Raven. And so it's really handy for me actually, because one of the byproducts of recycling is that people sort different materials and gather them up. And that means they're much handier for reuse than if they're with everything else. Anyway, so here's my piece of cardboard. I had the idea of people lying down and making chalk outlines of themselves. It's a little macabre. And then inviting people to collage little credit cards using clear packing tape and plastic for food. Using all different colors of that plastic as a kind of paint to make them into little miniature paintings and credit cards, fake credit cards at the same time. So I brought this concept up to Dawson City and I worked on making credit cards with folks there. I hadn't anticipated how fun it actually is to forge currency. No, we weren't exactly, I mean, no one's actually going to take these credit cards, right? But there's something empowering, and actually talking with someone here, he said it's sort of a cargo cult. Like, these are objects that have so much power in our lives, and if we make an image of them, there's still some residual power. I don't know, I think there's something artistically interesting in that that still has a lovely mystery about it for me. So one of the things I knew what I wanted to do was make credit cards that spell out those 2 questions that Dean asked. So is it activated, say these 2. And I put 1 credit card inside each figure that got outlined. I was outlining using scraps of drywall that were waste from a friend's construction of her studio. She said, could you use any more? And it's like I barely even touched the little scraps I used. So there's these. This is one that, well, I'm not sure whether the artist would like to be identified, but she had the vision of making a pregnant woman with a baby coming out into the world already holding the credit card. This was a credit card collage by a young fellow named Jack, and this is the outline that his mom made of him, and he added his face in, and you know, in a way it's a cheerful little thing which makes it kind of wistful. There's more over here. that we've had some rain, thank goodness, for the forest fires. These ones spell out the second question. Do I owe anything on it? And you'll notice that there are figures on here in marker. It's because the drywall chalk washed away a bit in the rain, and I was thinking, oh, Nicole, why did you keep it this way? But Heather Ashthorne, who's the executive director of Raven, said, you know, that's kind of apt. You know, the human beings wash away and disappear, and the plastic still stays. And so I did reestablish kind of the figures with markers, because I think for them staying up for a while, it's kind of that way. We had a lovely time at the fireweed market last Thursday, and quite a bit. These drawings were done by participants and passers-by who came. Some of the credit cards, you know, were made by the people who are outlined. Some of them are, you know, the people did the outlines, and then I still have lots of extra credit cards, actually, because a lot of people made them in Dawson. This is actually an outline of my dog lying partly on the cardboard. There's a few more around these, the bins. Oh, I meant to say that Raven staff are working very hard with a great deal of ingenuity to get their baling machines back up and running, but they aren't running right now. And so today is a good day to hang on to your recycling and not bring it in, if you can manage that at all. Do you want to show them a peek of the yard? Like, you can kind of see that everything's kind of full. So hold your horses. Come recycle in a few days. So this one was kind of funny. I had a participant who really wanted to do I think he called it an Arnold Schwarzenegger pose. And then I came back, and someone had left a Sharpie and drawn this lovely, like, very kid figure. And so I've left the Sharpie here. Maybe I'll get more kid figures drawn in. I'm quite excited about the way it took off into its own public art project. You know, with that people leapt upon it and took it a place I didn't anticipate. Kate Alexander, who used to work at Parks, her figure was entirely washed away, so I sort of reestablished it gesturally with marker, and they came in with the oil pastel to make it more vivid, but her gesture was like, ah! And one thing I feel a little bit guilty about with this project is I'm not exactly saying, okay friends, this is what we need to do to make the world a better place, because I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of just saying we're hooped. I guess I'm not saying we're hooped. What I'm doing is I figure I'm a visual artist. I can't necessarily, I need other people's imaginations to figure out better ways of doing things, but if I can make the problem more visible, then maybe that will engage other people's imaginations, and maybe we can collectively get somewhere better. So these two were also made at the fireweed market with participants when Raven Recycling had their booth there. These are actually boxes that I got from the cart from just down here. Yeah, there's a whole bunch more there. Like, if you want to make art out of cardboard, there's a lot of cardboard in the world. Those were from flat screen TVs. I couldn't believe how many flat screen TV boxes there were.
I'll just get this one over here.
As I was standing in the puddle to install this one today, I thought, this is a... I mean, I think as objects, these are a little maybe sparse and stark, but so is the reality, I guess. Now, as I was here, I had another idea come to me, and it's partly because I'm sitting there at my little table outside the wonderful reusable store. If you haven't checked out the reusable store at Raven Recycling, you totally should. At this point, I think the price is too low, but everything's $1. And you can find, I mean, I found these pants there during my residency, and I'm very pleased with them. But these bits of, you know, it's windy in this parking lot, and bits of film plastic catch the wind like nothing, right? and they were blowing up to me. And so I picked up some of those. Eventually I got some other ones too. But I cut them into strips and I finger crocheted it into a line. And I used that line to spell out in cursive. Thank you. No. And in some ways, it is kind of exciting to think about what forms of life will come out of all this plastic. Like it's in our placentas now. Are we going to start to be quasi-plastic animals? It's, you know, that we aren't so separate from nature. You know, for good or for ill. It's a thing. So I wanted to do the Facebook live stream today because I had permission from North 60 Petro over here to use their But I asked them for just a short period of time, about a week. It's been up there about 10 days now. So I need to take it down. So I wanted to do this tour while we had all of those new pieces up from that were made at the Fireweed Market, and we also had this. My friend Phoebe actually sat with me, and she's a fiber textile artist, and so she really brought a lot of chunk further. And sometimes I'd be sitting there and sort of waiting, and it didn't make sense to make more credit cards, and I needed other people to outline, and so I got a couple of little, actually they were, is this sticker in here? They were Mickey Mouse painting kind of things that were going to be useful, and I took my film plastic and I started collaging ravens on them. These were also part of what I did as part of the residency. And I believe this one here, I put the S on his chest thinking he was like super raven, but then I thought it was too much, so I put this other S. And then I realized it kind of had an SOS. And I think this one is going to become part of the office art, Raven Recycling. So I want to say thank you so much to Zero Waste Yukon and Raven Recycling for all that you do, but especially or specifically for hosting me. It's been really great to get to put myself to work in this environment, and hopefully we can go on doing good things together, and also like taking naps, because like my mom is, you know, she's a little older, and she was apologizing for how much she's sleeping recently, and I'm like, Mom, it's the best, like you're not making microplastic with your tires because you're not driving while you're sleeping, you're not consuming things, like probably taking naps might be an important part of the way forward. So sweet dreams, everybody.
Thank you, Nicole.